I've been studying to be a Jedi for about 3 months now, and I can tell you it is hard work, especially when you don't have a master. So you got to think outside of the box. I've been reading through the ancient Jedi texts, and I have been able to discern the 3 things that will make a Jedi the top of his game. The first thing, mental clarity. Now, I've put myself through the most rigorous tests in order to be able to make sure that mentally I am going to be up to the standards that I need to be when the time calls for it. Secondly, I have my physical prowess. Not only are my lightsaber and staff skills up to its peak capabilities, I have also maintained my body as a temple, ready to take on any physical challenge that the Empire might set my way. And then the third thing, I have got the ability to let things go. Yep, that's what it takes to be the best Jedi possible. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Blore on Mandalore. I am your host, Jeremy Blore, and we are breaking down the final episode of The Bad Batch Season 3, The Cavalry Have Arrived. Okay, now this is the final episode ever of Bad Batch. So it's pretty special, and seeing as though it is as special as what it is, I've decided to change up the way we do things on Blore and Mandalore just to fit this episode as kind of like a little special. Alright, we're going to start off with the regular. Episode rating, guys. That was a phenomenal episode, alright? Phenomenal. 10 out of 10, baby. Hell yeah! If you don't think that was a 10 out of 10, you are a cuckoo crazy coconut boy with a little bit of coconut sauce on your coconuts, alright? What the hell would be going through your head if you didn't think that was a 10 out of 10? I think they perfectly subverted what we thought was going to happen. All right? I was pleasantly surprised. I got a lot of it wrong. All right? I'm not going to lie to you. I have been bang on with so much of this season. Like, bang on. But I got this wrong. They led us down a path that we definitely didn't expect. And, guys, they have delivered with one of the most beautiful episodes I have ever seen. Okay? So. You know when it's a 10 out of 10, we're going to give it a rank of S tier, baby! Now, next week, I'm actually going to break down every single episode and give them their ranking and then put them on the board. It goes S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and then D tier. If you know me, I'm never really going to put anything on D tier, okay? I find the love and the joy in all things Star Wars. But Bad Batch, so far, Season 3, yeah, there may have been a few episodes here and there of Season 1 and 2, sure. But Season 3 was just banger after banger after banger. And even their so-called, I'm going to use the F word, filler, okay? Even their so-called filler episodes have been astronomically awesome. Astronomically awesome. All right, so I thought I'd start off with just a little bit of a list. We're going to go redeemed list and also the hate list, okay? Redeemed list, number 1, Dr. Carr. Now, I called that one, okay? I called that. You knew I was going to be doing that. Dr. Carr redeemed completely, but not just in our eyes. We knew that she was going to turn. And especially if you've watched this channel before, you knew that Nala Say was going to... Not Nala Say, a little silly duffer. But she is kind of the new Nala Say. But we knew that Dr. Carr was going to turn to become good. But I call it a redemption only when the kids have truly accepted that she was good, and they absolutely did that. You could see Eva look like, Dr. Carr, you were the one that saved us? Like, yes, baby. Hell yeah. Give Dr. Carr some love. All right. Now, actually, I will say, with a little bit of Dr. Carr love, I've seen some stuff on the internet. All right. And people have said Echo and Dr. Carr. I ship them. Oh, yeah. That's the new couple. Brother. They're literally brother and sister. Genetically, they're the same. I know we had an Alabama episode. Doesn't mean that we're going to get our brothers and sisters doing the hanky-panky stanky. No way in my books, all right? So you can take that discussion to another channel. All right? All right. Another one on the redeem list. Nala Say, baby. Hell yes. Hell yes. Look, she was good the whole way through, but that final scene with Rampart and they're sitting there in that experiment room and she just drops the bomb as she dies. Beautiful, beautiful. I love you, Nala Say. Thank you so much for giving us the most incredible characters, all right? Because in universe, she did give us the Bad Batch, all right? I know she didn't walk outside of that and do it and talk like this. Oh, but she was a badass, okay? My research stays with the Kaminoans. Boom! The slowest mic drop I've ever seen, but it was a mic drop nonetheless. I'm on... Okay, last one. Crosshair, baby. Redeemed. Crosshair completely redeemed. You know why? You know why? Because at the end, when Omega put all of her trust, she knew that Crosshair was going to finish the job, and that is 100% redemption. He is back to OG Crosshair like we know and love. Hell yeah, Crosshair. You have made an awesome character arc. Love you so much. But we go to the hate list. Hate number 1, Rampart, you bitch. I was wrong. I thought that Rampart was actually going to be good in the end and he wasn't going to turn on the Batch. Well, technically he didn't turn on the Batch. He turned against everyone in himself. He stayed true to the words that he was saying before and he was loyal only to himself. All he wanted was for the Empire to bow down to him after he bowed down to the Empire as a loyalist the whole time. Okay, screw that guy. Screw Rampart. He's a stinky bum. And he's probably got skitties. All right? He probably does have skitties. And the last one, guys, we all know who that's going to be. Hemlock. You dirty boy. You dirty boy. I hate you, buddy. I've always hated you, but I hate you especially more now that you locked your hands in with Omega. You freakazoid. That's a kid. Where's Chris Hansen? Barging through the door. All right? You're a freak. I hate you. So you're that's it. That's it on the list. That's it on the list. But guys, Bad Batch, it meant more than just an animated TV show. A lot of what we get in today's society is pop culture defining our kids' memories and future generations. Now, the Bad Batch finale, it meant the one thing. And it meant that family is the only way to succeed. And the Batch could not succeed unless they all work together. Now, we see that through elements of the show. Whenever they would split up, whenever they would do all of that random crazy stuff, it would only work if they were working together. When Crosshair left the Batch, they struggled. When Tech died, they struggled. When Echo left, they struggled. Absolutely struggled. They were disbanded and they were just completely out of touch with who they truly were. And only when we got Crosshair back, when we get Echo back, and we have Omega in the fold, are we back to the Batch's full strength. And that is because family is everything, okay? Now, if you're at home and you saw it a little different and you thought, well, look, I wanted all of the Batch to die except for Omega because that would have meant more. I was in that boat. I was completely in that boat. Even throughout the whole thing, I was like, oh, yeah. He's gone. Yep, he's gone. And that's when they go. Awesome. Gone. As much as I love the characters, I really wanted them to have that warrior's death, but it means more. Guys, Star Wars today is shaping the future generations of fans, and if they are raised on quality content like this, seriously, we are in for the most incredibly long period of love for Star Wars. It won't die. If they can keep on bringing out stellar shows like this, the batch will not die in everyone's hearts, and Star Wars will not die in everyone's hearts and minds. We will continue to have beautiful content when they stop focusing on today's issues. You don't need to relate to everything that's going on in your current period. What you need is you need a show that can isolate you from the rest of the world. You can turn that on and forget about everything else and show important lessons that will define you as a human being. To learn compassion, to learn how to trust your friends and family, to learn how to grow past your failures. This is all that season 3 was. And I am so grateful that we were able to watch it, and I can't wait for in the future when I've got my own little Mandalorian running around the place, that he's going to be able to see such stellar content, okay? And he's going to, or she, all right, because Star Wars is not just male. He or she could see the most beautiful season and series, what I call the #1 show that Disney has ever produced, The Bad Batch, baby. Guys, it can't help but take that #1 position. And I am a Mando fan. Mando is separate for me. Mando is always going to be #1 in my heart. I have inevitable bias. So I have to remove that completely. And that removed, Bad Batch is the best show that Disney has ever produced. Thanks to this guy right here, my little boy Hunter. Okay, guys. So what I thought I'd do with the next one, I would just highlight important parts of the individual characters that we went through. So I've got the characters here, and it's in no particular order, okay? No particular order. I just wanted to put down a kind of conclusion to the characters and what I deemed was the most important in the episode. Now, before you come to me in the comments saying, you missed this, it was so important, message me down below, okay? Message me in the comments section, send me a DM on Instagram, TikTok. That's really it. I mean, you can send me a DM on YouTube if you can figure out how to do that. But tell me down below what you think was more important or that I missed out on. But let's start with my boy Wrecker. Wrecker has immediately risen up to be equal to Hunter as one of my favorite clones. I was on the Wrecker bus the whole way through. Hunter really switched me towards the end. But Wrecker I just said Hunter, like it was Wrecker and Hunter put together. Brother, I'm getting loopy. But Wrecker proves one thing, all right? That when you truly have the desire for something to be completed, like saving Omega, you will do anything and everything to reach that goal. Okay, he was so badly damaged through the whole episode from that fight with that beast, right? Clawed him right down the chest. It was actually that side, but clawed him right down the chest. And he could barely walk. He was losing blood. He had all of these med packs that had run out. He was struggling, but never ever did he give up. He was given the opportunity to. Crosshair was like, no, Hunter, you take Wrecker back there. I'll go do this by myself, right? And Wrecker never gave in. He never gave in, and he was always strong. I love that. I love Wrecker. It was also like probably the coolest moment, all right, of this whole episode, other than that incredible finale. Wrecker had a Hulk moment. Omega looked at Hemlock and she's like, I have them. And then Wrecker goes, da-dum, dum, da-dum, da-dum, dum, da-dum, rah! And he just goes, boom, kicks the shield right into where all of that machinery that started the gas. It just goes, everything, electrical explosion, all of them are down. And he's like, rah! He just goes buck wild. He takes his equivalent of the clone X-Troopers and just crash tackles him off that platform. And he's like, get the kid. Come on. If that just didn't make you get a shot of testosterone, I don't know what would. I tell you what, my veins were pumping. I could feel the hair growing on my chest when I was watching Wrecker fight those boys. Testosterone is Wrecker, and Wrecker is testosterone. For all of you that love Wrecker, please tell me down below. Because he's honestly becoming one of my favorite characters. All right? On top of everything, one of my favorite characters. And the last little thing on Wrecker, I hope that the Vintage Collection is actually going to release a figurine on Wrecker. I will buy that completely. Like all of the Bad Batch Season 3 Wrecker figurines, I will buy. Because I want him at the start. I want him when he's got the armor that's completely redacted of any color other than his yellow. And I also want the big claw mark down the chest. He's a badass, man. Like, when he was being held by that dude with the spear, his counterpart, really, and he's like, oh my God. I not only thought he was dead, okay? I thought Wrecker was dead at that point. But just his pure strength to be ripped open completely and still have enough to fight a fully energized, and I'm thinking about this like a video game, like they've got their stamina at full, right? A fully stammed up clone X-Trooper stabbing him in the chest, and he's able to ward that off. Wrecker, F in the chat for Wrecker and anyone who doesn't, or who wanted to see him grow old at the end, okay? F in the chat. I wanted to see all of them there. It would have been a little more beautiful. I understand why it was Hunter. It started with Hunter. It ends with Hunter. Okay, but, Crosshair. Now, Crosshair had a little bit of an interesting episode. This was Crosshair's major turning point and his biggest lesson. Now, throughout the whole start, when they were getting to Tantus, you could see that he was pushing to be a lone wolf. Even he said he deserves to go and do this himself because of all the bad stuff that he did to them before. And he's right. He does deserve to do it, but he will never do it because the batch is one. The batch is a family. Another one of those themes that I was saying earlier, kind of making their way through this episode. He shouldn't have done it alone. Now, he brings up a really, really fucking sad point, trying to be like, hey, guilt trip, Tech would have known, right? Look what Tech would have said about this. And I think he was wrong. Tech knew that they worked better as a team. I mean, even down to the statistics. Like, Crosshair should never have been alone, but I love that Hunter never gave him an inch. He never even allowed him to step foot into that next realm of being what he was before. There's a reason why you're different, Crosshair, and I'm so glad that they stayed along with that. The directors have killed it. Like, absolutely blew it out of the park this season. And the last little thing that I'd like to say with Crosshair, because he didn't have too much of a character arc other than that point specifically, just learning how to be with the guys as a family, back to what he was as a batch member. But his hand visibly trembles at the sight of the Empire. Even when he had his big old he had his big old binoculars and he's looking down at these Imperial troopers and the Zillo Beast is roaring, all the lurkers go away, and he's not shaking from the Zillo Beast. That's the last of his worries. It's the sight of the Empire. Now, in that absolutely gory scene of when they did chop off, they chopped off his hand and they turned him into someone that can't shoot. Now, what they didn't realize is that was where they fucked up. That's their downfall. Because they removed every part of the Empire that was holding Crosshair back. His hand. The moment that he removed his hand was the moment he was free from the Empire. Crosshair was able to do better with a stub on his hand than he was ever able to do with his fear of the Empire. Their downfall was thinking that Crosshair needed his right hand to be the true Crosshair that he really is. All he needs is his brothers to be around him and to set him up for the perfect shot, which he made at the end, and that was glorious because he fucked up all along the way, right? He missed every opportunity, but this was it. He needed Hunter there with him to say, dude, you can do this. She believes in you. Bang! Snap right out of it. That was that hand completely disappearing. And who knows? All right, he could get the USB screwdriver hand like Echo. Okay? You never know. But let's get into my boy Hunter. All right, my boy Hunter right here. Oh, yeah. Hunter, gorgeous character. I love you, buddy. He is the epitome of a leader. He knew that the batch was better as a family. When Crosshair was trying to go, I'll do this by myself. No, mate. No. We are doing this as a family because we are Clone Force 99. You are not Clone Force 99. I am not Clone Force 99. We are Clone Force 99. Challenge. Try not to say Clone Force 99. Look, he just knows that the moment they split up, they're not actually at their strongest. Okay? Just like Tech would have known, Hunter is, beyond his senses, he's a genius. He has so much compassion and he has taught Omega so much of that compassion. But he knew that the moment that they got rid of their actual collective group, they were gone for. They have to work well as a team because they do work well as a team. All right. Look, honestly, I wrote down here as well, a lot of that was proven by the fight in the hangar. Okay? Crosshair, he goes, guys, just go, run back. I'll meet you, right? Pew! And now he's got a good shot when it comes to the explosive stuff. Shoots up the explosives onto the bridge, and it's like, doot, 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 doot. And Hunter is at the back running. Now, what happened? Hunter was running, and then a ship came in. Boom, singled him out. Gone. Okay? Wrecker goes, oh, no. He runs up over to him to go try to help him. He's singled out. Boom, done. Crosshair. He goes to help them. He's singled out. Boom, done. If that doesn't prove my point in itself, I don't know what would. They are the batch together. Never, ever should they split up. And the final little bit here, the sign of a true leader, the sign of someone who is able to withstand the most grueling of tortures for his family, for his team. He didn't even give an inch when they were trying to take over his brain and turn him into a Clone X trooper. Didn't give an inch. He was as strong as ever. As strong as ever, and he never gave up. Now that is my Hunter. Hunter would never give up, and he never did. And oh my god, when he threw the spear, oh, even with the most dulled senses, this guy is so OP. Who wouldn't? Like, out of all of the batch, I would prefer to have Wrecker's strength. But if you could have Wrecker's strength and Hunter's senses, now that's going to be freaky. But he is the reason why the batch can glue so well together. You need someone like Hunter to be able to stand up and never give up. Never stop fighting, even if the war is lost. And that's what he did. Now, a brief touch on Echo, because he didn't do much other than everything. No, he literally did everything, though. Echo was the reason why everything was able to happen. Okay? Yes, Omega set up the pathway for all of them to succeed. But without Echo, none of that would have happened. Okay? They never would have broken in there with Dr. Carr. They never would have gotten past the vault and in there with the Zillo Beast. Okay? And properly allowed that to go and followed around the place. They never would have been able to free the clones. I could go on forever. Echo was the MVP. By far the MVP. Now, I do think he should have died. But I love the poetry of Echo's character. Not only is he the final squad member of Domino Squad, an elite squad of the 501st, but, I mean, if you've looked at his head and if you've seen Clone Wars, you know he's gone through some stuff. Now, the clones were the ones to actually save him. The clones were the ones to take him, all right, from that separatist base and make him part of the Republic again. They saved his life, and he's going to save the clones' lives. Now, he saved, how many people? That whole base, every single clone that was prisoner there, they were out because of Echo. And I love their loyalty. That one clone who stood up and goes, I'll fight. I've still got one more fight left in me. Man! Now that is a leader as well. Echo, yes, he is working really solitary and he works best by himself. But that pure charisma to be able to lead the boys into battle. Those guys were struggling in a prison for years. Years, being tested on non-stop. You got to see as well one of the clones. It was just a regular clone. Like the Clone X Trooper who was putting the helmet on after with the blades. He was just a regular clone. I paused it, I zoomed in, and I could see. He was just a regular guy. So those guys were genetically made different like the batch. But they were just regular clones. They really, truly were. And they must have gone through so much pain. But I'm so glad Echo was there. I'm so glad Echo was able to help them and actually allow them to be freed and to join the fight again. Because the one thing that clones don't do is leave their brothers behind. Okay? And yes, he had some badass fight scenes. Alright? But if I went into every single badass fight scene, I'd probably be here for 10 hours. Okay? All I'll say with that is Echo and his aim and his control with a blaster, superb. Obviously, Wrecker fired a couple of shots to be able to save him from the guy that was coming up behind him. But he is so fucking cool. When he had the sword through his back and he just goes, oh! Echo, you're a G, mate. You're a G. Let's get on to probably the most important character of the Bad Batch, okay? Omega. Sorry, water break. Omega. Using skills that she was taught from the batch, she was able to lead her own squad out of the vault, the most secure premises on Tantus, and get to the airport hangar where they were exfiltrated. Badass! Everything that she did was just badass the whole episode. From changing the droid that she learnt from AZ, right? She changed the droid and made it become a good guy. She released the Zillo Beast and then wreaked havoc on the whole Mount Tantus. And then she was able to successfully help the kids. All right, I don't really know if I'm going to call them the Force sensitive kids because we don't know where they're going to go later. But she was able to help the kids overcome their fears. Even that kid was like, "Oh, I'm afraid of heights." My brother's also afraid of heights, and he is the strongest person I know. Now, I mean, I don't know about you, but that brought a little bit of a tear to my eye. Like, she loves her brothers so much, and everything that they have taught her has been useful. Everything. All right, she is a true leader. And I hope to see later on in the future that we actually get an Omega show. Mainly because I kind of want a little bit of the batch again. Just that little bit. Just a little bit. But I hope that we get to see Omega again later on as a rebel pilot. Okay? But with that, before I let that go, I don't know how I feel about her just being written off as a pilot. Omega is a rebel pilot now, but where was she? Where was she in all of the future attacks on the Empire and maybe even Endor? Did she meet up with Rex? Was she there? Did she die? Did she start the path? There are so many confusing questions that we need answered for the future of Star Wars, but I think Omega is intricately tied to the future of animation. Yeah, she started off animation. Even if they did her live action, I don't care. I just want to see her story again, you know? I just want to see where she goes and what happens to her, because you can't have a character that leveled up, that built up from hours and hours of content to be able to just throw away like, oh yeah, by the way, she was in the side. You can do that with Rex because that's like a cool little, hey, look, by the way, there was an old guy there. That's Rex because he was an accelerated clone. What about Omega? Does she meet up with Boba Fett later? Does she help out Han and Leia and Luke and Chewie with the Empire? The Rebels need someone like her, especially with her skill set. Come on, seriously. And maybe we can even get a glimpse of the batch. So I hope we get to see a little bit more of that. But I love at the end, just when they've got, I mean, I'll talk about the final scene a little bit later, but Tech's glasses. I love that she kept them. I love that she kept Tech's glasses. Like, it is so beautiful that we know, yeah, we've lost a member of the batch, but he was truly a part of her heart. And she will carry him and the batch with her for the rest of her life. Gorgeous, beautiful storytelling. And even the last fight when it came to Hemlock, seriously, come on. Gangster. That was so cool. Like, just for Hunter to be able to say, look, trust her. She knows what she's doing. And she carried around that pin with her the whole time. Wouldn't that be uncomfortable? Wouldn't that have fallen out either way? Look, I don't care. All I care about is the fact that she was able to secure the batch in that final win. Hemlock was he was a bitch. But he needed Omega, and I loved that she called his bluff. So cool. Like, she was like, look, you need me. All right, you're not going to do anything to me, and they're not going to do anything to me. I am perfectly safe here. By the way, boys, knife out. Let's fucking do this shit. Oh, so cool. Omega has gone down as one of my favorite characters. She really has. Because of this final season. I didn't even like her in the first two seasons. I thought she was just an annoying kid who just walks around and talks like this. But she's really cool. I really enjoyed seeing her there and actually, I mean, getting to grow with her as she became a true member of the batch. So guys, I'm going to call that there when it comes to the characters, all right? And I've got a little bit here of just cool parts that I've highlighted. If I can actually hold this fucking thing right. For anyone who's been watching that, I'm so sorry. I've just been fiddling around with this the whole time. Cool parts that I have highlighted, okay, for everyone to kind of reminisce on. And even things I just thought was interesting. The Zillow Beast was King Kong style, baby. Hell yeah. I knew that was going to happen. I called it. I called that last episode. Go watch my previous one, all right? You'd see that I'm being honest, all right? I was actually correct. She was going to do a King Kong style thing with the Zillow Beast. And he just ripped apart. And he was just like, chomp, stomp. And then released out into the wild of Tantus. That country is dead. I mean, that planet is dead now. You got a Zillow Beast running around, the apex predator of every single planet other than Mandalore with the Mythosaur. I wonder who would win. But, on to the next one. Hemlock's clone X-Troopers are like gladiatorial warriors. Now, I mean, instantly, when I saw all of their weapons, I was like, yep, okay, they're gladiators. All right, super cool. Even the helmet design was like Roman gladiators. That one guy with the spear, he had the exact same style of helmet as ancient Roman gladiators did have. Really, really cool. I love that they were a mirror to the batch. Even throughout, you got to see one that was strong, one that was a little smarter, a little smaller, but smarter, like a tech. Then you had Crosshair, which is the original Clone X that we saw. Okay. And then you got a Hunter's one. I mean, look, Hunter, I think, was actually more of Hemlock's enemy. But all of the batch were able to have a mirror to be able to fight. And I loved it. I loved it. Like, they didn't need a face. I didn't ever think that it was going to be Cody. Never. I never thought it was going to be Cody. But I knew it was going to be someone special. All right? And that is a regular clone. Now you say, Jeremy, why are you saying that they are special? Well, it's because it shows that what they were doing, they were able to genetically modify a base clone. All right. Now that science could be used insanely in the future. They haven't lost that side of it. All right. They've still got that. They've lost all of the stuff with Project Necromancer, sure. But they haven't lost that side of it. Are we going to see some insane clones? Are the Empire going to use some incredible warriors in the future? Who knows? But it's going to be interesting to see. But also, last little bit on that one, Hemlock always wanted the batch. Okay? Hemlock wanted to have them as his clone X-Troopers. And you can see as they were mirrored to the other clone X-Troopers that they were inspired incredibly from their works. Now, that's the reason why Omega was put in the vault. Because he knew that she was going to escape and she was going to get them into the building and he could indoctrinate them and turn them into his super soldier warriors. All right? So cool. I knew he was smarter than what he was playing out to be. He knew everything that was going on. However, what he didn't count on was just how good Omega was. And I love that that was his hubris. I love it. Love it. Another little thing, final fight, everything looked like Camino. Okay, apart from the raging waters, the heavy rain, all of the buildings and so on, and just like that boardwalk, it looked exactly like it was on Camino, and it was like back to their origins as clones. I loved it. I love to see the poetry, how it rhymes from the very beginning to the very end. The directors, you have done a fantastic job. Come on, Scorch's death as well? He just died like nothing. I thought he was going to put up more of a fight. I thought we could have seen a little bit more of Scorch, maybe even if they could turn him on Hemlock. Now, as you've seen in previous episodes, I never thought that he could do that. All right? But I thought it'd be so interesting to see Scorch kind of have a little bit more vocal, to be like, I'm not one of you guys. All right? I am loyal to whoever is in charge, and that's the Empire. kind of like that he didn't really talk too much because he was a bit of an asshole in this. But if he was more similar to what he was in Republic Commando, the game, it would have been so much cooler. So, look, take what you will. I'm glad we got to see more of Delta Squad in Scorch, but that is it. That's it for Delta Squad. That's them done. Scorch is the final piece of the puzzle, and he's gone now. And the last two, we have Project Stardust. So Tarkin made his way onto the episode. Awesome. I love when they bring in OG characters like that. But Tarkin made his way in, and he basically put all of the funding from Project Necromancer into Project Stardust. If you've seen Rogue One, you would know that Project Stardust is the Death Star. Okay? So now all the money and all of the research is going into Project Stardust. What the hell is happening with Project Necromancer? How did we connect from that time with the Batch to later on in the sequels when they have all of their technology perfected to have Palpatine? They're going to need to patch this up. They need to add in more content to be able to drive this forward. Are we seeing the Emperor come back to Tantus and be like, all right, let's pick up the remnants of this research. Maybe we'll get Dr. Pershing onto Exegol, and we're jumping out of here. We're going to take this to an even more secure place because anywhere within this galaxy is just not enough. We need somewhere that you can only get with a Sith Wayfinder, and we're going to lock everyone over there. And lastly, my boy Gonky. My boy Gonky is back, everyone. Thank you so much for all of your beautiful comments. Okay. Gonky is the GOAT. I love that fucking droid. Oh my God, he's so cool. He is the epitome of sexy. He actually rizzed up my girlfriend when she was watching it. She actually left me for Gonky. So in a way, I am kind of sad that he is back, but I love my boy. I'll give him a big old smooch on those power droid lips. I'm so glad that he was safe. I was so worried for multiple episodes. Actually, I brought it up every single episode. I love him so much. Now, guys, let's get on to the final bits. Let's give a gory death list. Yeah, I added some of the most gory deaths because you couldn't go with that being unnoticed. The clone that was stabbed through the wall. Like, I was just on the edge of my seat like, oh my God. What the hell? I've never seen this show be so violent before. This episode was gnarly. Anyways, the clone that was stabbed through the wall was crazy. Then we have Nala Se and Rampart. Badass Nala Se, dickhead Rampart. Thermal detonator. Boop, 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 boop. And then you could hear him go, oh, boom. So cool. Gory death, though. Look, I wanted Nala Se to get off right. I wanted her to get out safe, but I'm so glad that she died with that technology because that really is effectively the last of the Kaminoans. Okay? That's probably the last we're ever going to see of them. So, Kamino died with Nala Se. The research of the clones died with Nala Se. Love it. I love it. Even though it's the end of the clones, it is so beautifully ended. Next, we have Hunter spearing Clone X. Look, it was gory, sure, but if you look in the next scene, you'll see him when he's stabbed through the chest. He is being held up from the spear. His feet aren't touching the ground. That was so cool. So cool. Gory, though, and dark. Really, really dark. But I'm glad Hunter was the one that did it, because he's my boy. And lastly, Wrecker with the Clone X Trooper going his head right through the wall. I mean, we all know Wrecker's strong, but that strong. He demolished him. Demolished. So cool. Wrecker, I love you, buddy. So, the future of Star Wars. I've got a couple of questions here to give your mind a little bit of a boggling and a joggling. We have potential Omega animated show. I know I talked about that before, but what do you think? All of these questions, by the way, say down below what you think. All right. Will we see Rex and the remnants of the clones in their own animated show? Personally, I would love to. I would love to see how Echo actually dies, how Wolf is connected, and what the hell happened to Commander Cody. I hope they do another Tales, like a Tales of the Remnant Clones or something like that, so we get to explore this animation, this beautiful animation, and Rex, because I don't think we gave him enough time. And finally, how does Project Necromancer start up again? Guys, tell me what you think down below, because I genuinely don't know. I really don't know how they're going to go with this one, but I'm excited. I'm genuinely really excited for the future of Star Wars to see where this is going to go. And let's finish it off with some questions from the fans. I can finally get rid of this bloody notebook that is constantly annoying me. All right, guys, I put prompts up onto my Instagram every single week. All right? Check out my Instagram, put on notifications for my stories, because I will always put out questions before I film. And you guys can just ask anything you want, be that Star Wars related or not. Okay? Yes, the next couple of episodes are going to be a little more wild. But we'll see. We'll see. We could potentially do the origins of Blur on Mandalore. Who knows? And I'd love to have all of your origin stories as well. Tell me everything and anything that you want. But let's start off with Zy Bondfield. He said, when will we see you directing Star Wars' next big hit? Isaiah, you are speaking to my heart. That is my biggest dream, people. That is my biggest dream. Mark my words. One day, someone's going to be clipping this video. Yeah, someone's going to be clipping this video and they're going to be like, oh my God, he called this earlier. I will direct the best Star Wars film that you have ever seen in your whole entire life. The best. Mark my words. But I don't know, depending on how well I go with this one, and maybe that could further my career in directing. But we'll see. Star Wars Nerd 00 says, not a question, but that ending was beautiful. I miss Clone Force 99. Dude, same here, man. I miss Clone Force 99. I want more. I hate seeing old Hunter knowing that we could get more of that, you know? Maybe even just old men running around. But look, maybe we'll get like shorts and so on. Who knows? But I miss them. I really do miss them as well. Okay, Tia Galanos said, now that the Bad Batch is done, what is your content going to look like from this point? Well, thank you, Tia Galanos, my beautiful girlfriend. I love you with all my heart. Gonna marry that girl one day. Basically, the next week, I'm going to do a... Actually, you know what? Because it's going to get a little tricky. Tales of the Empire is released on May the 4th. So I might do... This is depending, all right? Depending on how much of an episode I can make from the ranking. I might just do a shorter episode earlier on in the week of my ranking of Star Wars Bad Batch. And then later on, my podcast will be a breakdown of Tales of the Empire. Beyond that, we have also got some awesome shows coming up. We've got The Acolyte. Even future later on, we might be getting Andor end of this year. But throughout that, I'm going to be doing random little segments that I like, you know, top 10 of, top 10 characters, whatever. You're going to see more of an insight of why I love Star Wars, what I love about Star Wars, and just kind of grow with me. It'll be nice. On to the next question. Beyond the Dune Sea, my boys. I love these guys so much. If you haven't watched their show before, do me a favor, turn this off right now and jump on their channel. They are the best Star Wars content creators ever. And they have been so helpful and just incredible at creating the foundations of this channel. So please, I love them so much. They are the best. I love you, Seth, but especially Connor. You have done so much for me, and you have helped me out so much. Genuinely, you're incredible. But, yes, do you think Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair fought in the rebellion? No. No, I don't think they did. I think, look, we know that they wanted to settle down before and they couldn't because the Empire truly wasn't gone. Now, I know the Empire's not gone, but all of the worries that they have had before are gone. Are gone. I do think that we're going to see a little bit more. Maybe they're going to help out Rex. Rex is going to be like, hey, I know these clones. Maybe they can help out. But I don't think we're going to see them fighting in the rebellion. I think that's solely going to go to Omega. She has taken over the reins of the Bad Batch. Okay? Who knows? I could be wrong. But I don't think they're going to fight. Lastly, we have from Condabon _ she says, what do you want to see in the future? Well, myself getting $1 million. But at the same time, what I want to see in the future, I'm going to say just of Star Wars. I just want to see them get rid of the idea that you need to relate Star Wars to the outside world so inherently. Like, oh, this person's got this problem because they have been struggling with depression or anxiety. That can be explored in ways of just expanding characters through their experiences without the show. Like Crosshair, a prime example of PTSD. You didn't have to go blatantly out there being like, oh, this is happening because of this and this and this. It shows the effects of war and what it can have on a soldier. And they didn't need to tell everything. It's like when we were kids. Show, don't tell. I hope that Star Wars in the future does a more show aspect than a tell. But guys, thank you so much. I'm going to call it there. That was just the most incredible episode, the best finale. Thank you so much for joining along. I have had an absolute blast, a genuine blast. The Bad Batch, they got me started, but I'm not finishing here. Blore and Mandalore will be back next week, and I'll catch you guys then. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Woo!